All right. That was the PR for season 1, 2017. There you have it, folks. You can see the slide on your screen. You got Black Twins at number 1 with Mistake at second. That was a really close one. Yo at third. Crim Foy shit fourth. Val got fifth. Poke sixth. JW seventh. Ice Ninja eighth. Sir BB9. Let's Tickle. I think that was like the big surprise. Who's going to be number 10? Let's Tickle at number 10. And of course, you got your HMs, V115. Only going to one tournament, so he's going to get that HM spot. Burst, Levy, Blush, and Kevin Wong. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move on to a PR panelist discussion. Right now, I have Meek Speedy with me, and we're going to just talk about, like, you know, things about the PR, like the close calls and whatnot. So how about we dive into it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we'll take it from the top. Black Twins a Mistake was already a close call to just bring out right away. Just towards the end of the season, Mistake started pulling up a bunch of big wins and just catching up to Black Twins, but just not enough, you know. Black Twins having a losing record to Mistake, actually, I believe, but just having all these fantastic... Yeah, but having all these fantastic wins on people out of region and just not suffering really any bad losses.
Yeah, exactly. So like right now we can see Black Twins results on the screen here. Just real quick, you could see undefeated 4 record with Foul God and multiple wins on Dark Aura. He's got Death Horse, Chris, JW, and the list just goes on. And
yeah, Yo.
Yeah.
Superhero Kills, Venom, just a lot of big wins.
Yeah, and then if we try to look at Mistake, it's a fairly similar list as far as like wins and losses are concerned, but just not as many as Black Twins. And he does have a loss to Jello that dragged him down a tiny bit. And yeah, so there you go. That was a really close call. As you can see in the video, Ben worked really hard on making it look like, you know.
Yeah, it was like Cloud and Bayonetta fighting each other, and you just see Cloud come out on top. Just represents, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Who was gonna go where? It was really well done. The video was super well done. I'm really impressed with it.
So the next one we can talk about is Yo. Very consistent results overall. No real bad losses, really. His worst loss is Foul God, I think, which is, like, he's top 5 on the PR right now, so not too bad for him.
Yeah,
does have a lot
I mean, Yo was, yeah, he was definitely the most, probably the easiest choice out of this whole ranking, to be honest. Like, sticking Yo at third just felt very obvious.
What?
Yo, what's good? And we got Michael Christ coming through to join us as well. We were going to have our Moses come through, but something came up for him, so...
Yeah, it's all good. And yeah, and you can even see here that Mistake has a positive, or sorry, Yo has a positive record on Mistake, 3-1.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he just doesn't have really the win, like the big wins that Mistake has. You know, Mistake having a winning record against Black Twins and having a win on Superhero Cal's, wins on Vishal. Yeah, whereas exactly. Yo's list of wins are very limited, albeit good, but. And Yo is just super consistent. His worst loss is Foul God. Like,
yeah, exactly. And
yeah, it's kind of like the story of Yo every season. He never really gets the bad losses. He always gets the good wins, but there's always like someone else that just gets the bigger wins, you know? Either someone else just travels more than him. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then next up we can see...
Moving forward, we'll bunch them up, all three of these, Chris, Fish, Foul God, and Poke. This... Yeah. Was all three of these were kind of debated, and then we kind of ironed out Chris being fourth. Just in general, like everything he just had just seemed a little bit more impressive than in comparison to Foul God and Poke.
Yeah, I think both of them having a win on Mistake was a big deal, considering Mistake was like arguably first, came out second.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Poke didn't quite have that peak, but he had, I think, the best losses of the three.
Yeah, he was very consistent, like insanely consistent.
Yeah.
Whereas Foul God had the best wins out of everybody, but he also had the worst losses. He was very polarizing and hard to place.
Yeah. So I think the reason Chris was fourth was because he had like the best blend. He had really high peak with wins on mistake, holy, and he didn't really have too many losses, if any, that were bad.
Yeah, he really didn't have any. Like, he lost to Falgod, and Falgod's his worst loss, I believe. Well, I don't know who Black Yoshi is, but I'm pretty sure that was at Frostbite, right?
Yeah, that's Chris's
that
worst
guy's pretty
loss,
good,
I
no?
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So moving on to Falgod and Poke, this was a very heated discussion, to say the least.
This was one of the reasons.
It went on for, yeah, this is the main reason why the PR is so late, is just we couldn't decide, really. Like, we could have just stuck this in random number generator and spewed it out, and honestly, it wouldn't have made a difference, because it was just way too close to call.
Yeah, like
kind of like we said earlier. Sorry, go ahead.
Personally, I had a favor of Poke being 5th rather than 6th, and like it was like split, right? It was like a vote, so it was split. And
yeah, we voted, and it split down the middle 3-3, and it had a lot of debate.
Yeah, and then eventually, the majority became Falgod, and I was trying to defend Poke because, like, the reason I was trying to defend him was he was more consistent overall with his losses, but the reason why Falgod is 5th overall right now is because his high peaks are way better than Poke's. He has
wins on mistake and Yo, whereas Poke's best win is Chris, and Falgod boasts a win on Chris as well. So
I think the big thing was like we said, Chris, Falgod, and Poke were kind of like in their own tier, while Black Twins, Mistake, and Yo kind of were like a little bit better. You know, even though they're all close to each other on the PR, the fact that Falgod kind of broke into that top 2, top 3 wins, whereas Poke's best win was Chris. So I think Falgod's big peak kind of like made up for the fact that he loses every now and then to people he quote unquote shouldn't be losing to.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think we can move on to JW and Ice Ninja.
Yeah, for sure. So JW and Ice Ninja, this one also had a bit of a discussion, but we all generally came to a consensus that Ice Ninja should be higher. I think all of us came to an agreement on that. Or JW, sorry, yeah. Yeah, we all came to a consensus that JW should be higher than Ice Ninja. He just boasts of, as we called it, an army of Sir BB wins.
Yeah, he had what, like 6, 5?
Yeah, I think it was 5. Yeah, I think it was 6 actually. Yeah,
it's 5-2.
5. Yeah, God. So putting him at least above Sir BB was obvious, and it was very obvious that JW was going to be on the rankings this season, boasting 2 wins on Falgod, and just generally being. Oh, sorry, my computer's acting up. Someone can pick up where I'm leaving off here.
So it's kind of similar to like the last conversation where, you know, Ice Ninja consistent is always not losing to many people. He had like 1 or 2 losses that you could say, oh, I'm surprised, but overall JW just had, you know, he had 2 wins on Falgod, 1 on Pika Pika, 600 on Sir BB, and just like, yeah, he had so many so many good wins that I think a lot of the close calls came down to a lot of people saying that they value wins that are like surprising more than losses. Because every now and then, you know, some people get a bad loss.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to beat
Especially
people
if you look at Ice Ninja's records, he just boasts like a handful of wins and hasn't really done much else.
Yeah.
Yeah, Poke, Falgod, Burst, Kitty Kong, and that's really about it. And then you can see, and Sir BB, the 1-1 with Sir BB. But but like you can see there JW here. He's got a positive record on Blanc, a big record on Sir BB, even with Falgod.
I think he has a win on Pika Pika as well.
Yeah, he has a win on Pika Pika, Levy, and Shadow and whatnot. And it's just like more wins overall. So
yeah,
it's still really close, but it's slight edge.
Yeah, it was still close for sure.
Yeah. So
and then we came down to Sir BB, who had some. He was just a cut above all the other contenders, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like everybody else at this point, it was all very similar like situations for everybody that could have gone on the 9 and 10th spots. But Sir BB was just a tiny bit better than everybody else.
Yeah.
He had just a better wins overall. Is what it came down to. Like he had some wins on JW, I believe it was.
Yeah, 2 wins on JW. Yeah, win on Ice Ninja. Win on Blush. He had to win on King Goggles.
Yeah.
And a mountain of Poke Cheese wins.
Yeah. I feel
Oh
like
god.
that's kind of like a theme in most PRs. After like back when Space Dong played, Space Dong and Ice Ninja kind of held like the torch for like the gatekeepers, right? After that, it was like anyone's game for the 8, 9, 10, and it's still kind of like that. Where after Ice Ninja, there's a bunch of people who have like really good wins, but they still get like these losses. They're a bit more
These
inconsistent.
really sour losses.
Yeah, and this time Sir BB ended up being just like the best of that group for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and I
And
think
then
the
up
most
next
exciting
we had yeah, the sleeper pick. We honestly almost overlooked this like entirely, and then Black Twins was looking through it. We were trying to find like just everything. We were looking up as much as we could, and we came across Let's Tickle, and he boasts a lot of good things, honestly, and he hasn't really had any too sour of losses. Like, his losses are all very respectful in consideration of where he is on the ranking. And he boasts a win on, who was it? Falgod. He has a win on JW.
Yeah.
And a win on Nuke as well, for what that's worth.
Yeah, Nuke ranked in Montreal. I think he's like 4th or something.
No, he's like
I'm not sure where he's
like
ranked.
14th or 13th or something
Oh.
like that.
Yeah.
But like that's
Forgot a
equivalent.
whole number.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's like equivalent to our like HMs.
Yeah, for sure. So it's definitely a win to boast.
Yeah, and then his losses are really impressive. His worst loss is like games. Like it's not
Poke Cheese, yeah,
Poke Cheese,
Shadow,
Kitty
I don't
Kong,
know.
Shadow. Like they're not
Like a
bad
bunch of
losses.
Like all these, yeah.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
bad
His worst
losses.
loss was like people that could like fight to be an HM, right? And that's better than a lot of other people could say.
Yeah, if we compare it to who we have on HM currently outside of Vishal, it's yeah, they boast a lot of pretty sour losses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So moving on to the HMs, Vishal's there because he's inactive. Moving on.
Yeah, I mean,
Not much else to say there.
yeah, like
Yeah,
look at
everyone
this.
knows.
That win on Yo.
Vishal went to like, what was it, like one tournament?
Yeah.
He lost to Mistake twice and beat JW, Yo, iModders twice. Like, yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's like no doubt in our minds that he's gonna take that HM spot.
Yeah. For anyone that doesn't know, you have
There's
to meet a certain amount of attendance to make the PR. It's literally just Vishal didn't make it, so he's an HM. He would easily be top 4, top 5, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Then we got Burst next. Let's see here. Yeah, he's got a few bad losses. Like it's Sonic, Mario. He has some good wins. He has a win on Falgod, and a few wins on Lightwork. Kevin Wong, who's an HM right now, and yeah, overall just solid wins, but also some bad losses. What else we got?
Yeah, and a lot of the people on this portion of the list is just all very similar records, and it came down to a good handful of people, probably about like 7 people outside of Vishal could have been on this HM list here.
Yeah. It's another reason, that we were arguing so much. Especially there was like 2 slots in the HM that like no one could make up. Everyone had different people.
Yeah.
Everyone valued certain wins more than others, and we just had to discuss it for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, like Levy's pretty much HM because he has the 2 Ice Ninja wins and a win on Blush, as well as he has like wins. He has a win on Meek Speedy. I don't know what that's worth. What do you think, Meek?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's all right.
First on the PR win.
That's the legacy win.
2 years ago. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a Philly cheese win.
But overall, I would say Levy had pretty good results. The wins on Ice Ninja are big. Ice Ninja known to be consistent. A win on Meek's pretty good regardless of what year we're in. And then Blush. Blush was like, he's been proven to be better now. Raycom's always a threat. Saber's pretty good. Like, he has just these like good wins, and then his losses are, like we said, like pretty surprising in the HM level. I think his worst loss was like, I'm not sure even. He didn't have many bad losses, is my point. Yeah, he had
honestly.
overall pretty good, consistent results.
Yeah, speaking of
Blush.
Blush.
Levy was, I think everybody agreed on Levy being HM this season, actually. It
Yeah.
was one of the first ones we all kind of consensus to.
Yeah, he made it in pretty easy.
I think before we found Let's Tickle, he was almost going to take the 10th spot.
Yeah, he was going to take the 10th spot.
He was sitting at 10th.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, we got Blush up next here. What has he got? He's got a win on Levy.
He's got that mistake win.
And if I
Yeah,
scroll
yeah,
down,
that's the big one.
yeah.
The thing with
Mistake.
Blush is that he had the really high peak. He's like what we were talking about earlier with the HMs kind of are very shaky sometimes. Blush is kind of like the big example with a huge peak win on mistake, second best, and then losses to like that guy you never knew his name. Yeah.
Rip that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I don't know how good Kazi is. I know he's number 1 in Niagara. But yeah, like he's got a win on him. A really solid Falcon, and of course number 1 in Windsor, Nanaba, the Diddy. So,
yeah, for sure. Blush boasted a lot of surprising wins, and it was a decent choice in contrast to some of the other people we had.
He also has what we call the legacy wins, you know, the Space Dong and T.O. Joe. Those are the two players, like, same with Meek, where even though when they're not coming out, you just know they're, like, good wins. They're not easy people to beat, right?
Yeah.
all right, and lastly, we have Kevin Wong. If I scroll down here, you can see, yeah, Poke and Gaines and Shadow Yonk stays in. Solid wins overall. The biggest one in question is Poke. You know, the 3-1 against Poke at Smasher York 15.
Yeah, and Poke is definitely the type of player that doesn't just lose to anybody.
Exactly.
He's one of the most consistent players in our region.
Yeah, I
if
think
not
that's
the
his worst
most.
loss this season, and like that's his only questionable loss, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Kevin was in, like, discussion a lot as well, and Poke was that reason. Like, it's not easy to beat Poke at all. You, like, when's the last time you hear Poke getting upset? Like, you're more likely to hear Black Twins get upset, and he's the first on the PR, right? So
Yeah, like after
exactly.
Kevin
Getting a
Wong,
win
his
on-
worst loss was Ice Ninja. Like that's really
Yeah.
consistent.
yeah, exactly.
Speaking
So getting
of
a win
losses,
on
Kevin
Poke is,
Wong's losses weren't too bad. Like, he lost like
Yeah.
Blitz, I guess, and that's really like I don't know.
Yeah,
He doesn't
Zyro-
have as
Blitz
many
Zyro-
bad losses as some of the other people that were in contention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, yeah, he did really good. A few people that were also looked at, I think, were Poke Cheese.
Yeah, Poke
He
Cheese
came
for
really
sure was
close.
looked at a lot.
Yeah, he was really, really
Who else
close.
did we look at? Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow was doing well this season as well.
Yeah.
Who
Now
else?
we're
Even
getting
Jello,
into the
Jello
HHMs.
had a win on mistake.
Gaines was in contention. He was in the running.
Yeah, and the HMs this season were scrappers. You know, everyone trying to fight for those last few HM spots.
Yeah, those last few HM spots came down to the nitty gritty.
The only ones I
Yeah.
would say were locked in were V because of attendance and like Levy because he almost made 10. After
Levy,
that,
yeah.
it was like just a fighting ground.
Toss-up,
Yeah.
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 But yeah, good stuff to everyone that made it. If you were close to the HM spot, I would also congratulate you because, you know, maybe if one other guy thought you were better, you could have made it, right? It's such a big, heated discussion for the
Yeah,
HM.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It really came down to like that level of closeness.
Yeah, a lot of them were very, very neck and neck. So it was a hard hard choices, I would say, this season.
Hard fought battle in the rankings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Good stuff to
Oh
do.
yeah, and Falgod, congrats for breaking the number 10
Oh yeah,
spot.
the 10th place curse.
Curse.
Not only did he get
10th
back
place
on the
curse.
PR, he broke into like that upper echelons of like the Poke Chris
Yeah,
tier, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, so good stuff to Falgod for sure.
Yeah. He deserves
Yeah.
he deserves
that forever ninth.
Well, is this his
Our
second?
new forever ninth. Yes. He's our new forever ninth.
Funny. And we got Void at number 7.
Weird curses. Never
man, oh yeah, shoutouts to Anthony Moss for
Yeah.
the work.
Picture.
The artwork.
the image for sure.
Yeah.
And Ben for the video. That video was nice.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
video was crispy.
I think it was like
Spicy video.
it was lagging for some people. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. It was lagging for me, but I could tell that it was
yeah.
beautiful.
I hope it
Definitely
wasn't
gonna
too
rewatch
bad.
that.
I'm gonna
Definitely
play the
gonna-
video again after we're done, just so that people are just like tuning in now and they missed it. So yeah, if you guys are watching now and you missed it, don't worry, I'll play it again at the end. But yeah, so I think is that it, guys? Are we did we cover all the bases?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think everything's been run over here.
Alrighty, cool. So I guess with that, I'll go ahead and play the video one more time, and then after the video ends, we'll call it we'll call it a night and
Oh
end the
yeah,
stream.
one more thing. We've decided to rename the power ranking into seasons instead of
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
winter, spring, or whatever. Because when we do winter or spring or whatever, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. Like we call
Yeah.
it winter because the tournaments took place in the winter. You guys are mad because it's spring right now. So if we name it spring, you guys are mad because the tournaments took place in the winter. So we're just gonna number the seasons from now on.
Yeah. So this
Alright,
was the
yeah.
first season of
Keep it simple.
2017. 2017 season 2 started this week, last week.
Yeah, what's the first tournament this
Yes.
season? Is it TCU?
I think it's TCU.
Yes, it is TCU. TCU will be the first tournament counting for the power ranking.
Alright, sweet. So this Sunday, guys, is the grand beginning of the
Grand
season.
opening for
Yeah,
season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so season 1 it was from November to April, and season 2 will be the end of April till whenever it's appropriate to update it.
Essentially
Yeah.
the season's end is whenever there's enough data that we could just grind through, right? Like we need enough tournaments
Yeah,
that we.
there's no set in stone time frame. So whenever we have enough results, we'll be able to update it.
Yeah, but we'll tell everyone ahead of time. We're not going to just be like, hey, the season ends now, right? We'll be like, this is the last tournament of the season. We'll give like a month in advance, just so everyone knows that if they haven't met.
There was one more thing. What was the attendance requirement we made?
It was
Or
3 for
changed,
this
rather.
season. I think it was 3 for this
Yeah,
season, but
Yeah,
it
we did
Yeah,
like
I
a
think we
tiered
made
thing.
like a little bit of a. Yeah, where's that doc?
It was like
This is why we need Armin here.
if there were less than 14 tournaments in a season, it was just 3 events. And
It was
then
3, but if it was more than 14, you needed 4 tournaments or something along the lines of that.
and then
But
eventually
I mean,
it
if
was
you
like
just go to
5.
enough tournaments, it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it essentially
Yeah.
came down to you have to be like a part of the community, right? You can't come to 1 or 2 tournaments and all of a sudden you're PR because you did well, right? You have to be
Yeah.
out there. Like you're on the Ontario power ranking because you're consistently competing in Ontario, right? Not because you went there once or twice and won.
Yeah. Exactly. Are you pulling up the doc just so we could be sure?
I have no idea where it is. I'd have to scroll all the way up.
Okay, no, it's fine. I guess we can make an update post
Yeah,
on Facebook
we'll,
with all the
yeah.
information there,
Yeah.
so everyone's up to the same page. All right.
If you guys
so,
have any specific questions, it might be in the chat. You could ask them
yeah,
after.
Yeah.
yeah, I see.
But I think
Mike's
for now,
initially-
Farsad's just gonna play the video.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the video again.
Yeah.
And after the video ends, then I guess that's it for the stream. But you guys can continue to talk and chat if you have questions with the PR panelists and whatnot. So